Parashat Shoftim is full of laws, fascinating laws, but there's one aspect of it that really, I think, is as relevant today as it ever was, and shows how, in a way, advanced the Torah was in its age 3,500 years ago. It says, Ki palem imcha davar, if there is an issue, an argument, or a matter of law that you don't understand, it's simply beyond you, a new situation, then you have to get up and go to the judge or the priest or whoever is in charge of the law, and you must ask them what to do. And they will tell you what to do, they look into it, and then you must follow them, turning neither to the left or to the right. This is a fundamental principle of Jewish law. It means that although the Torah was given on Sinai by tradition to Moses, Moses himself had to go back and ask God several times on several issues what to do. And therefore we have the principle that although the Torah was given, nevertheless we have to go on adapting it to situations that we haven't come across before, or to deal with problems that there is no obvious answer to. And we do this by turning to the legal authorities. And these legal authorities may vary. At the time when the priests were in charge, they were the priests. At the time when the judge was in charge, that was the judge. In our time, and since the time of the Talmud, it's been the rabbis. Not just any old rabbi, of course, but rather like any constitution. We have our constitution, like the American Constitution. It starts off with actually the Declaration of Independence, and then it moves on to the Constitution, and then the amendments to the Constitution, and then after that we have the Supreme Court that deals with the issues that keep on cropping up and has to decide whether to go back to the original text and find an answer there, or find an answer using the inspiration of the original text to find and to deal with something new. In that sense, Judaism is based on the Constitution, and the people who apply the Constitution are the scholars, are the people who are acknowledged on the basis of meritocracy as knowing sufficient to be able to answer these sorts of problems. And when new situations arise, whether it's electricity, or whether it's how do you define death, is it brain death as well as heart death, how do you deal with modern technology, the scholars, they present a paper, it's called a tshuva, on the issue, and this then is debated, and some people will agree and some people will disagree. In some places there will be customs that are already ingrained but only applicable to local areas or particular parts of Judaism. But basically one can see the development of the law. You can follow it through back to its origins, back through the latter-day authorities, the Achronim, to the earlier ones, the Rishonim, back to the Gaonim, back to the Talmud, back then through to the Torah. So there is a difference in the sense that we have no Supreme Court. In one sense, that's a problem, but in another sense, I think it's very healthy because it means there is consensus. But the disadvantage of consensus, it can take a long time, it doesn't happen quickly, and there's often ebbing and flowing as to which way we move and which way we don't move. There are all kinds of issues, from abortion and contraception to how we deal with modern technology in the era in which we live. And some of the solutions will be based on the law, some of them will be meta-legal, in the sense not really based on the law, but so much as on what the rabbis understand to be the spirit. The rabbis are not infallible. Many rabbis claim they are. And indeed, the Talmud says that we've included in the text disagreeing opinions, so that if at some later date somebody wants to reopen this case or re-examine, they have the differing opinions of the early masters. It's a brilliant, simple system. People don't like the fact that it doesn't always change the way they want it to. There are things I would like to see changed more quickly. For example, with regard to the agunah, the woman who can't remarry because her husband refused to give her a divorce. But this question of consensus is how we're moving. We happen to be in an era at the moment of predominant strictness, of reaction against modernity and too much liberality, and maybe at some stage in the future this will change. But meanwhile, we do as our experts tell us, and that is the law.